Hi, welcome everybody. As we try to develop number sense, we shall continue to. Today, we will be looking at the decimal system, which we started last day. And last day we said that on a place value chart, if we had 100, tens, ones, on a place value chart, at the right of the ones column, there's a decimal point that separates the wholes from the fractions. And we said there's a column there that is known as the tenths column, that is fractions based on tenths. So if you had 7 out of 10, you had a whole, you divide into 10 equal parts, and 7 out of 10 will be written as 0 wholes and 7 tenths. Alright, and then next to the tenths column, we have the hundredths column. Okay, and the best way to think of hundredths is if we think of like money. So we think of 25 cents. 25 cents will be $0. 2 10 cents, 2 10 cents, right? Tenths, and 5 cents, 5 cents, 5 hundredths. All right, so 0.25, and we said if we have 0.25, we can represent this as a fraction. This means 25 hundredths. 25 hundredths. Now, from your the assessment that I gave, I realized that some of you have forgotten that when you have your fraction, you need to reduce it to its lowest term. Yeah? So if you had gotten 20.25, 0.25 is 25 out of 100, or 25 hundredths. You can reduce this to its lowest term, and you say 25 into 25, 1, and 25 into 100, 4, and you get 1/4. So you need to pay attention to that, because I saw some of you, like you had 0.6, and you just left your answer as 6 tenths. I know 6 tenths. Alright, we were just establishing the concept, so I would have accepted it. But you need to reduce this to its lowest term. So you will say 2 into 6, 3, and 2 into 10, 5. And remember, we reduce our number to its lowest term by dividing the numerator and denominator by the same number, right? By a common factor. So our answer will end up being 3/5. This morning, let us look at a couple popular fraction. Okay, so suppose we had 0.5. So we look at 0.5. And 0.5 is really 5 tenths. And we can reduce 5 tenths to its lowest term. 5 into 5, 1. And 5 into 10 would give you 2. Alright, so we end up with 1/2. So that's a common one we need to look right? So we say 0.5 is really 5 tenths, and when we reduce 5 tenths, we get 1/2. Alright, up this way we'd have looked at 0.25, and 0.25 is 25 hundredths, and we get 1/4. So little tips we need to look at is that if we have one digit after the point, for example, if we have 0.2, we put it over 10, 2 out of 10, and we reduce it. Yet, by dividing by 2, we end up with 1/5. Alright? So good. So it is very easy to convert a decimal to a fraction. But remember, when you get your fraction, you make sure you reduce it to its lowest term. Another weak area that I cited from your assessment is that, for example, if you had 2 and 8 tenths, alright, some of you were forgetting that this 2 means 2 wholes. This 0 here means 0 wholes. So this 2 is 2 wholes. So you put your 2 wholes, and your 8 tenths will be written as 0.8 8, 2.8. All right, and likewise, if you had 3.6 and you had to get the fraction now, 3.6 is really 3 wholes and 6 tenths. But you can reduce your 6 tenths. So 2 into 6 is 3 and 2 into 10 is 5. So you end up with 3 wholes and your 3/5. So we need to pay attention to those areas. All right. So this morning we want to take it a step further. All right. But let me just recap before I go on. Remember, you have a decimal. You can take a decimal. If it's 2 decimal places, you put it over 100. 1, 2. So it's 2 digits after the points, you put it over 100. It's 25 hundredths. And you reduce it as lowest term, you get your fraction. But if you have a fraction, for example, you have 2 and 8 tenths. This 2 is 2 wholes, and the 8 tenths will be 0.8. Right? 8 over 10, 0.8. Okay? So let's take it one step further. Let us consider that we had 1/2. 1/2, and we would like to convert 1/2 to a decimal. Now observe that we don't have fractions based on tenths or hundredths. So we have to devise a means of changing it to tenths and hundredths. Now, and you may tell me that we could treat it as an equivalent fraction. All right, and we can say, well, 2 5s are 10. 2 times 5 would give us 10. So 1 times 5 will give us 5. So we get 5 tenths. And now that we have 5 tenths, we write it as 0.5. But not all fractions will be able to convert into tenths or hundredths. If we had 3/4, we would not be able to change it to tenths, because 4 times, we would not get 4 times any whole number to give us 10. Because 4 2s are 8 and 4 3s are 12. So we would have to convert this to hundredths. So we say 4 times 25. 4 times 25 will give us 100. So 3 times 25 will give us 75 hundredths. And then we will write 75 hundredths as 0.75. So what I want to do this morning is to teach you a pattern to convert any fraction to a decimal. All right. So let's look back. Let's look at a half once more. A half, from very early on in our videos when we were establishing the concept of fractions, you would have said it means 1 out of 2, or 1 divided by 2. So we treat it as this: 1 divided by 2. That's what a half means. A half means the numerator here divided by 2. So then in order to do this method, we must know how to do long division. And when we are doing long division, we follow some principles. We divide, and when we divide, we write our answer, then we multiply, then we take away, and then we bring down. Right? So look at this. So 2 into 1. How many 2s I will get in 1? 0. So observe, I have no more digit there. So I put a point and I add a 0. Look at that. 2 into 10, 5. 5 2s, I multiply now. 5 times 2 would give me 10. I take away, and I have nothing else there. So my answer being 0.5. So look at it. A half is 5 tenths, which is 0.5. 0.5 being 5 tenths. I'm going to reduce it, we got a half. And if we use this method now, alright, we say 2 into 1, 0. We put a point, we add a 0. 2 into 10, 5. 5 2s, 10. Right? Let's try another one. Let's try 3/4. Okay? 3/4 equal 3 divided by the denominator goes on the outside. So look at it. 4 into 3, 0. So we have no digits here. So we put a point and we add a 0. 4 into 30, 7. And 7 fours are, so we are multiplying now. 7 times 4, 28. And after we multiply, we have to subtract. So we say 30 take away 28 will give you 2. Alright? Because 0 can't take away 8, and we went across here. 10 take away 8 is 2, and 2 take away 2 would be 0. Alright? So look at that. But we still have 2 here. We have to work until we get 0 remaining. So 4 into 2. How many 4s can go into 2? Pay attention. 4 into 2. It can't, so we put a 0 here. And now we say 4 into 20. 5. So we just divided 4 into 20. So we divided 4 into 20, 5. So the next step is to multiply. 5 times 4, 20. Then we subtract. And we get no remainder. Alright? So let's try one more. Let's try one more. Yeah? Let's try 2/5. Yeah? So 2 on the inside, or denominator on the outside. 5 into 2, 0. Put a point, add a 0. 5 into 20, 4. 4 5s, 20. And when you subtract, you get 0, so you know you're finished. Alright? Let's try a quarter. Yeah? Let's try a quarter. A quarter will be what? 1 on here and 4 on here. So 4 into 1, 0. You put a point, you add a 0. 4 into 10, 2. 2 times 4, 8. We subtract. 10 take away 8 is 2. 4 into 2, so we need to put a 0 here. 4 into 20, 5. 5 times 4 is 20. So when we subtract, we end up with zeros. Alright? So you must be able to master that skill of converting any fraction to a decimal. Let's try a much longer one. Let's try this one. Let's suppose we had 1/8. Huh? Let's try this one. Yeah. Let's put 1 here and we put 8 here. 8 into 1, 0. Tell me what to do. Put a point, add a 0. 8 into 10, 1. 1 times 8 is 8. So I'm going to slow it down now. 8 into 1, 0. You put a point, you add a 0. 8 into 10, 1. 8 into 10, 1. So now I multiply. 1 times 8 is 8. Okay? And after multiplying, I need to subtract. So 10 take away 8 is 2. So I know 8 can't go into 2. So I have to add a 0. So time for me to divide now. 8 into 20, 2. 8 into 20, 2. So when I divide, I write my answer. And right after dividing, I multiply. 2 times 8. 2 times 8, 16. And I subtract. And I get 4. So I still didn't get 0. So I need to add a 0 there. 8 into 40. 5. I say 5 times 8 would give me 40. And now I get zeros to the end. Alright? So you could try that. Yeah? So we said there are a couple ways. We want to revisit. There are a couple ways that we can convert a fraction to a decimal. So let's see. Let's see. One of the first ways we said, if we have fractions based on tenths. For example, we had if we had 7 tenths, we simply know that 7 tenths is 0.7. It's 10, one digit after the point, because this is tenths we are talking about. So on the place value chart, 0 whole 7 tenths. However, if we had 7 out of 100, that will be 0 wholes, 0 tenths, and 7 hundredths. Because this 7 is under the hundredths column in the place value chart. If we had 4 wholes and 3 hundredths, we are talking about 4 wholes, 0 tenths, because we don't have any tenths, and 3 hundredths. If we had 5 wholes and 17 hundredths, we write it as 5 point, this one here is 1/10, and look at that, because without the 5 here, the 17 is 17 hundredths, 5 wholes, 17 hundredths, 17 hundredths. Okay, so that is one method we looked at of converting a fraction to a decimal. And then the other method we use, we say if we have a number such as 3/5, we would say 3 divided by 5. 5 into 3, 0, put a point, add a 0. 5 into 30, 6, 6 5s are 30. Subtract. And we get zeros, we are finished. So we can say 3/5 is 0.6. And you can prove it, you know. Yeah, you can prove it, because you know if you have 0.6, what does 0.6 mean? 0.6 means 6 out of 10. And if you reduce that to its lowest term, 2 into 6, 3, and 2 into 10, 5, you get back your 3/5. Yeah, 3/5 is 0.6. 0.6 is 3/5. Okay, so I'll send you all a worksheet, and you'll need to have patience and try working them out. And until next time, take care.